if you think about it from a sales perspective, our biggest competitor isn't the company down the street. It's probably indecision, that I want to think it over. That should be the worst phrase that you hear. Unfortunately, for some of us, we accept it. I know I have. Why do we do that? Because, well, a decision of, hey, I want to think it over, that's sort of an open possibility, right? And open possibilities or files are better than hearing no's. So maybe it's better than a no, but I want to share with you, I think a no is much better than a maybe. We all want yes, 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 right? I know the second best thing, though, that you could hear is probably no. The third thing that you could hear, which you'd never want to hear, is I want to think it over. Time is our most important or precious commodity. So I know sometimes I spend time chasing, I want to think it over, but I never really get an answer. It's a very finite resource, this thing called time. So I think you want to go for a no. Now, that may go against your instinct. When somebody says, I haven't made a decision yet, chances are they have. Don't you think? Or at least you've got to test that out a bit. So, what I think is people feel very uncomfortable telling us no. So, you want to make sure they're not just being polite to you, or you've got to make sure for your own well-being, right? And how to spend time. Do you spend any more time with that particular prospective client? You want to close the file. You want to know where you stand. And I'll always say, hey, no's okay. I say no is okay to my prospects. I get the feeling it's kind of over, but you're not really sure to tell me that. Am I right? Whatever words that you use, get them to make a decision. Now, of course, in different parts of the sales process, different industries, we want to make sure that we set the stage, right? So prior to leaving an appointment or a Zoom call, you want to make sure, what are we covering next time? So at least you have a decision made about your next agenda or what's next, the next step, you might call it. So how about before you do a presentation? Don't you want to know what they're going to say, or let them know that they can say yes or no? It takes the pressure out of the meeting, I'll tell you that much. But you'd rather not hear I want to think it over, Steve. So if that's appropriate in your world, I think it's worth. But the point is that you have to tell people up front it's okay to say no. Now, that may not apply to every conversation, of course, but you have to accept as a pro that when you get a wishy-washy answer, or they've kicked the can down the road, chances are it's going to be a no. And so what I'd like you to do is maybe help gently force the no. So you could use your face-to-face skills or your video skills to either understand why and maybe overcome it then. But you can never overcome, and I want to think it over, especially if it comes just before you're ready to close out the meeting. So when you hear that again, remember, a decision not to make a decision is a decision.